It's called milking a call, and normally the senior of us know how to use it. And what I mean by that is we take the time either to get to a call or stay on a call so that we don't have to do more work. It's as simple as that. I loved traffic accidents. I loved that, especially in wintertime, right? I had two different methods for traffic accidents. And if they were traffic accidents that actually like blocked traffic, it depends when you needed to do traffic details. So in summertime, I wanted to be the second car there because the first car there usually takes the call. And then that's the person who's sitting inside the squad, filling out the report. I liked being the second one on scene because I got to direct traffic then. And then, man, if it was a gorgeous, sunny, afternoon day, you're outside, man. You're outside and you're waving on traffic. You're just doing traffic details. In the wintertime, it was opposite. If it was freezing cold out, I liked to be the first person on the scene so that I didn't have to direct traffic if there was a blockage or you're waiting for tow, and I could be nice and warm in my squad car filling out the paperwork. A lot of times, if it was a pain in the ass and you knew like a domestic in progress, we used to let the rookie officers scream up on there because they're the ones who will piss and vinegar. They're going to be the ones taking the paperwork. Man, you want it? You got it. You could be the primary officer, show up on scene. We're going to sit there and be like, hey, you're not going to say a word unless we need to step in because you're failing, you're screwing up, and we'll step, but it's still your call. You're going to do all the paperwork. And sometimes, you know what? If we hear there was a rescue call, and it was trouble breathing or something real, just routine and whatnot, we'd stay extra long and we'd wait for rescue to clear just so that clock can tick because we don't want to go 10-8, to which meant clear and return to service, because then as dispatch had calls piling up, we were going to get the next call that might have been paperwork. So milking calls. A lot of times the senior guys take their time to get there. They take their time to clear off. It's wasting literal time, so they don't have to do more work. It's how it is. But this is a little bit different, and I want to take a look at this. Two St. Louis police officers walked away from a still breathing man suffering from a gunshot wound to the head, with one noting his shift was ending soon. Body camera footage shows the officers Ty Warren and Austin Frazier responding to a call about a man who said he had planned to die by suicide in City's Park Forest on September 10th of 2023. A complaint filed by the St. Louis Police Department of Safety in front of the Missouri Administrative Hearing Commission obtained by, this is from People magazine, includes that a partial transcript of the exchange between the two officers as they responded to a call, which matches what was said in the reported footage. You guys can read about this. The two individuals are no longer employed by the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. The department said in a statement to People, while we are unable to comment specifically on personnel matters, St. Louis Metropolitan Police holds its officers to the highest standards. Appropriate disciplinary action will be taken if the officers are found to have violated policies. Let's watch this together and take a look at what exactly transpired. This is an 11-minute video from KMOV St. Louis is the YouTube channel. Going to take a look at this, watch it, and break it down. Again, when I watch these, I try not to. There's a majority of the footage, I never see it in before you guys. I want to break it down in real time. So I do not know what the circumstance was. I didn't read in People. I don't know what they're being responded for. I'm assuming this is a call for service by a citizen, not something they initially observed.
A call for that burglar alarm at 5975 Drury Lane, 5975 Drury Lane. Called in by the alarm company. How are you? I got an additional.
On the bottom, what you see here, these are numbers. This is 23-415006. That's year 2023. So 23 is the year, and this is the 41,506th call they've took for that year.
Yeah, we can walk down and see if we see anything.
Deborah Colbert. She responded and she's requested to cancel. She said nothing. It was accidentally activated. Can I go ahead and cancel this?
It might not be nothing.
Yes, you may.
Whole time this month.
Yes,
Up out there. Yeah, damn, he right there. Somebody right there. Swear to God.
body camera footage is interesting because we don't have the full wide frame, and you don't have the department ID on there, the officer ID. You don't have all that information, the time of day. So this is this looks more like cell phone footage, camera footage, than it does body camera footage.
Nah, he ain't dead. He alive. Boy. Oh, no, his no, his dead. That's all brain.
Yeah. He shoot himself in the head?
I don't know. To take this.
Man, just off the bat, St. Louis, you got some fucking shitbag thugs working for you. Oh, he did, homie. Do you guys have like a graduation of like you get past 6th grade and you could police? And are you the same agency that shit the fucking bed and made a big stinking noise when Andy Frisella criticized female cops? Not your officers, but female cops? Well done. This is off to a great start. St. Louis PD, the shining example of well-articulate human beings serving and protecting, outclassing everyone else, showing up on scene. Damn, he dead, homie. Fucking awesome to see you guys are so well advanced in your educational status and your articulation. I would love to know who fucking writes the reports for these clowns on your duty, because you know they wrote it with a crayon and they probably they misspelled the word the. Are you fucking serious? This is how your officers are? Holy shit, your department's got to be scum.
Damn.
We ain't taking this shit. I ain't taking 30 minutes. Let's cruise around and come back.
Oh. 2 minutes into this. Let's cruise around and come back. Before we continue, I mean, there's nothing worth redeeming on this. One identified as the subject was still breathing. Another one sees there's brains all over the place. God forbid you get on the radio and call an ambulance. There's no redeeming. None. And I'm always gonna pull back on this when you guys say that it's a few bad apples. Where did they learn it? Where did they learn it? From other officers on the department. So it's a culture. It's taught behavior. I mean, the world wants to talk about racism, right? Racism is a learned behavior. Well, this is a learned behavior amongst your police who see a dying man and you don't render aid. You do not call for fucking paramedics, rescue on your radio, and you don't care. You don't. This transcends far more into other aspects of policing that just shows, St. Louis, you got a bigger fucking problem than a well-known person who donates and supports to your cause criticizing female cops. You have shitbag thugs on your department. And you hear the joking and laughing, and I can get past that easy. Dude, I'll never forget, we had an 11-year-old girl who was hit by a car. She ultimately wound up living. She was hit by a Chevy pickup truck middle of the afternoon, and a lot of us were worried that she wasn't going to make it. She was riding her bike, and the car was going a little bit too fast on the side street. She ultimately lived, but at roll call the next day to break the tension, one of the guys there made a really off-color joke it was fucking funny. It was hilarious, and it was at her expense. And, you know, one of the cops who actually dealt with it, he didn't like the joke at all. But the rest of us, man, we laughed at it because it really broke the tension of real somber shit. So when it comes down to dark humor, I'm fine with that, man. I'm fine with that. But there's a time and place for it. On body camera, on the scene, nah, man, that's not the time or the place. This is alternate body camera view. The reason why there's audio and no audio yet is because it has that 30 or 60 second buffering until you hit the button. I'm guessing he didn't hit the button yet.
And each of them.
522.
522.
Oh, we have a subject laying here in this tree. We'll get one thing, we'll verify.
That's clear. Are you at 40 North Kings Highway?
First time for smart right across the street.
That's clear.
K7 North clear. Or across the street.
I want to hear that traffic again.
Right across.
Did they call out the subject laying there and they were across the street, so they're relatively in location? Because I want to hear that again.
Oh, we have a subject laying here in this tree. We'll get one thing, we'll verify.
It sounds like we have a subject here laying against a tree. We'll get there and verify.
That's clear. Are you at 40 North Kings Highway?
First time for smart right across the street.
They were right across the street, so they're calling their location, which puts them on scene. I don't know what the whole driving around the block was going to do unless it I mean, you already called out on location. So were you guys just not thinking about that they already knew where you were and they timestamped that? Not very smart if so.
That's clear.
K7 North clear. Or across the street. I will take over the last.
Clear.
Yep,
They
he
have a
did.
subject.
Nah, I bleeding.
Do you guys want 511 to start heading that way?
You guys are fucking trash.
Go ahead, 522.
Now EMS respond for one subject. Not conscious of breathing. Barely. The gunshot wound to his.
Side of his head.
It looks like to the side of his head. Yeah, it looks like to the side of his head.
Are you're calling that? His hand is on the mic. Is he actually calling this out? Not conscious, not breathing. Here he is, and he's got his hand on the mic, so I have to assume he's keyed up as he's relaying this information to dispatch.
Go ahead, 522.
Now EMS respond.
Okay, they just said go ahead 522, so they gave him the go ahead clear to talk.
Not conscious of breathing. Barely. The gunshot wound to his.
Side of his head.
It looks like to the side of his head.
Not conscious, but breathing barely. So, okay.
Yeah, it looks like to the side of his head.
526.
I'll first give by. 522.
That address right here.
26, we're with him right now. We're across the street of 20 Kings Highway.
What the 522.
Everybody's up to you now.
We're directly across.
We're directly across the street from the hotel in Forest Park.
Hey, bud.
That's
7. Let's use 10 North Kings Highway.
I have to back up because I'm lost for a second. 416. Is this? All right. Did they clear? This is after they drove around the block. I'm hoping to God that this is after they drove around the block.
Across the street, they will see all of our police turn their lights on.
that's clear. I'll first give by.
And let's have a supervisor respond over here.
Probably inside the bag, but if he do got a gun, just leave it alone. Until, let's say have ETU come out here.
2511.
Can't find it.
You can lob it up. Nora, and I will be en route to that location.
Breathing? Yeah, he's snoring. Agonal breathing? Yep.
Yeah,
We have a gun? We can't see one.
GSW head.
This has got to be after they circle the block. A couple different things too about not rendering aid. I'm torn. I'm not medically trained. I'm not. I had a guy. The call came out. It's had to be December. This said late. I remember it was cold out, so it was winter, like 2000, maybe 2003, and a cab driver dropped a guy off that he picked up from a bar, and the cab driver went back because the guy left his coat in the car. When the cab driver returned it, the guy was upside down. He walked up the 5 stairs to get to his home. He was so drunk, he fell, and he was laying on his head and neck, and he was bent. And the cab driver called 911 for us to show up. So it was police and rescue. So however long that it took for the cab driver to go back, the guy could have been there for 5 minutes. Cab driver then calls, make another 3 minutes before it's dispatched. I get there, maybe 2 minutes after that. So you're looking at maybe like 10 minutes there. The guy could have been in that position. When I got there, he was still breathing. He was purple. The guy was fucking purple. And thank God rescue pulled up maybe 10 seconds after I got there, because I didn't know what the fuck to do. Because I saw his neck bent and he was breathing, and I'm not medically trained, but I'm going, that's got to have the blood flow cutting off his carotid artery. If I move him, am I going to break his neck? I didn't want to be responsible for actually moving this guy to render aid to break his neck. Thank fucking God paramedics got there, because I would have been like, what was I supposed to do? So there's times when I don't know what the right answer for rendering aid is. If you have a gunshot and you see brains all over, but somebody is clearly breathing, I don't know what we're expecting law enforcement to do to render first aid, because how much damage are you going to do if you try to stop bleeding on brains that are all over? So when it comes to this, I'm kind of 50-50. I do not know what the right answer is. I'm not medically trained. If you saw a gunshot wound, clearly you apply pressure. There's a lot of first responder tourniquet. I'm sure there's a lot of technology. Shit, I remember a clamp that was brought out years ago that immediately would close up a wound, and instant blood would stop. I don't even know if that was put into production. It was probably the single best piece of equipment I ever saw. But yeah, CPR. I've done CPR before. CPR is extremely exhausting. I had a man who died of a heart attack, and CPR, when you do it, it feels like you're going to break somebody's chest, and it's not. It's a gross feeling. Again, oh shit, this is parallel. I'm getting long-winded. I'm doing CPR in a doctor's office. It was in a fucking doctor's office, and I'm pushing on the guy's chest. I did it for maybe 45 seconds. It was exhausting. It was so tiring. And as I'm looking around, I'm screaming at the nurses there, "Do you get the AED?" And they're looking at me. They were looking at me like I was fucking speaking a foreign language. So they were frozen. So it blew me away. We all think we're trained, but in the moment you have to do something, I don't know if a lot of people are going to take over or if they know what the right thing to do is. So on some level, them standing around, I want to defend them a little bit, because what can you do? I don't have that answer. But if the first part of this was you circle the block, that needs to be criminal charges. They need to not just be fired. They need to be put in jail. So I want to continue on this.
Rolled on it here. Yep. Yeah,
Channel cars.
It looks like it's on the right side of the
511, put in. I'll take you out on number 10, North Kings Highway. And of course, be advised, EMS is en route. I told them to use the address of number 10, North Kings Highway. And 511 is en route. Do you want me to start 501 or what?
Third responding officers extended body coverage.
Five, 6.
526.
You can check it out with 27 and 22 cameras.
Something right by that thing right there. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Notification for you guys too. And just restrict any cars returning for this assault.
Oh, that's it right there.
Message 115 and
522.
522.
We have a subject laying here at this tree. We'll give it 1 second. We'll verify.
Yes, sir. Are you at 40 North Kings Highway?
We're inside Forest Park, right across the street.
Yes.
It's just more clear. Or across the street.
What was it last? Yep.
Clear. They have a subject.
Oh, he's asleep.
Oh. 11 start heading out.
522 priority.
Go ahead.
Have EMS respond for one subject, not conscious but breathing, barely, with a gunshot wound to his head.
Side of his tail right here. Yeah, it looks like to the side of his
What
tail.
is your exact location? Hi, 522. What is your exact location?
What the 522. Have everybody stop keying up. We're directly across the street from the hotel in Forest Park. Hey, bud.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna start.
7. Let's use 10 North Kings Highway across the street. They will see all of our police with their lights on. Get the victim here.
That's clear. Upper skin light.
Where's the gun at?
Let's have a supervisor respond over here. Or here's the suicide.
Just leave it alone.
Let's say have ECU come out here.
25.
We can't find it.
Lob it up. Ignore.
I ain't gonna touch him now. But
Location.
He's breathing?
yeah, he's snoring.
Agonal breathing?
Yep.
Yeah.
You have a gun?
Can't see one.
GSW head.
Might have rolled on it. At the ear. Yeah. He may have rolled.
And all cars,
Looks like it's
that's
on the
clear.
right side of the
511, code in. I'll take you out on number 10 North King Highway. And all cars, be advised, EMS is en route. I told them to use the address of number 10 North Kings Highway. And 511's en route. Do you want me to start 501 or what?
All right, I'm after the first initial two guys. I don't have a problem with anything else that goes on, because what can you do? You identify a gunshot wound to the head. It's a trick bag, because what are you gonna do? You're gonna search for a weapon when I don't know how to medically explain this. What if you do something that causes further damage that ends this guy's life? So you're in a real shitty spot, right? And then there's how society feels. Why the fuck are you gonna bother, man? The guy didn't want to live. Fuck him. He's a drain on the tax dollars anyway. So what does it matter? So you're putting cops again in a real shit position to do the job that you think that they're supposed to do. So the biggest problem I have is the first part of this video. Everything else, I don't have a problem with any of it. They showed up to a scene. They observed the subject. They did what they could. They called for aid. They identified, all the update. You can hear that officer was clearly seasoned, talking about everybody not keying up at the same time, giving priority traffic. He gave as much information possible that he had. I don't think that I would have him. Outside of trying to secure a pistol, if that's the case, you have to identify that, because God forbid EMS goes up there and they don't let them know that, and the guy has one last knee jerk, electrical fire brain move, and he pulls out a pistol and shoots somebody. That'd be an issue. So as best you can, try to identify a pistol. If he shot himself, it should be relatively right there in the area. But what first aid are you really supposed to render to a person that shoots themselves in the head and there's brain matter all over? I don't know what you could do. That's beyond my level of expertise. But this is the following body camera footage shows officers responding to a reported suicide at Forest Park on September 10th. Okay, I appreciate this. If you're a loved one, you have mental health issues. This is the problem I have. Everything after this.
Recording. Dispatch recording.
Claire, I got a call for that burglar alarm at 5975 Drury Lane, 5975 Drury Lane. Called in by the alarm company. However, I got an additional call from the team holder, Deborah Colbert. She responded and she's requesting to cancel. She said nothing. It was accidentally activated. Can I go ahead and cancel this?
It might not be enough.
Did you make
Whole time this month.
You
out there.
hear right there. There's his mentality. Time is money. All right. Well, we know your motivation.
Yeah, damn, he right there. Somebody right there. Swear to God.
He got concrete boots on.
Nah, he ain't dead. He alive. Boy.
All right, so they identify him as still alive. You know, he dead, homie, all that shit. The problem I have, and we'll continue on, just before I get to this point.
Oh, no, his no, his dead. That's all brain.
Yeah. He shoot himself in the head?
I don't know.
How'd that fucker get past the interview process? How? I'm blown. Are you guys that desperate for cops? Holy shit. I'll come be your fucking chief if that's the standard. Holy, no, you actually might have a department that actually runs well.
You better take this then.
We ain't taking this shit. I ain't taking 30 minutes. Let's cruise around and come back.
All right, so there's the problem. Let's cruise around and come back. Dereliction of duty, perhaps, maybe. Just the failure to render aid. I don't know if that's a policy issue, right? So if we're going to be looking at fireable offenses or whatnot, clearly they prove that they don't care about the citizens of the town. So fire, I 100% agree with it. I want further. I want criminal charges. But the problem is, what's the crime? Because a lot of you keep posting in the comment section about how the Supreme Court has ruled. The police are under no obligation to serve the public in that way, to offer aid and life-saving measures. That's what you say. I don't have that verified, and it is what it is. I'd like to see some more information on that. But what about the police's version of disorderly conduct? We have police that can arrest you for anything as long as it fits the narrative of disorderly conduct. And by most states, it's any conduct that causes alarming and disturbing a nature to another citizen. So, to be honest, this shit's kind of alarming and disturbing. Why are we not having a blanket catch-all criminal charge against police? Because the only way this is going to change is by what's the big fucking deal? You fired these two? What does that do anything? And I know that it's the value of the human life, right? This guy wanted to kill himself, so fuck him. What does it matter? He killed himself. Why should the cops, because I know a lot of people are going to feel like this, why should it matter? The guy wanted to die. They just fucking let him die. It's the integrity and the standard of excellence that St. Louis proves they don't have with these two officers. And the problem is these two officers were known by other people. And if you don't have your own officers pressuring other guys going, dude, you reflect on me, just get your shit together. Don't fucking talk like you're some hillbilly white trash fucking black rapper wannabe on a call on body camera. I can only imagine how these two fucking morons' reports must have read, and the spelling and the grammatical errors. I know it because I had a commander who could barely speak English, and his reports were abysmal, but they always got passed through by the deputy chief. So it's like we have such a bad hiring process with cops, and this is ultimately what you get. These are the type of men who are going to show up to a call, do the bare minimum. Well, it's 5 minutes before their shift is up, but your dog went missing. I'll put in a report. Your car got stolen. Your daughter is out with a guy you don't want to, and you just want somebody checking on him because you're worried about her safety because she's not really making the best decisions. I'm talking about the petty, everyday calls that cops get that they're proving they're going to half-ass. It's important to you. I respect the fact that maybe your mailbox that you just pulled on got graffitied by someone in town and you're pissed off and it's emotionally important to you, but it's not a priority of the police. And sadly, this mentality, dude, this is common. It's common. I've told you, I've seen milking calls. They know how to get away with it. This shit, I've never seen this shit. I've never seen this, but it terrifies me to think it's out there because that means St. Louis has a common practice for this. Well, it doesn't reflect the actions of our officers. Bullshit, dude. 2 of them were on the exact same page. And where do you think they learned that from? So it is what it is. This is behavior and it's a mindset. And this is why I keep saying we need a standard of excellence that we just don't have with cops out there in the street. Everything after what those two did when the responding officers after them showed up, I have no problem with it whatsoever. It was handled. What other way could you handle it? Subject clearly gunshot wounds, maybe stand guard around the body and notify EMS when they come up. Hey, listen, there's a pistol somewhere in the area that we have not been able to recover. Just beware of that when you render aid. Be ready to wind up, I don't know, going hands-on just to wind up securing the subject in case there is a pistol still there and the person still does have a bodily function. But other than that, rendering aid, securing a gunshot wound to the head, keeping them alive. I don't know what the proper medical aid is in that because that was not my expertise as a first responder. I'm not EMS. I'm just not. So everything else, the radio traffic, the way that they secured the scene, kept calm on it. It is what it is. But the first two officers, shit, man. Just shit. I don't know. Don't forget to join us live every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. I take your calls. You guys can review this kind of stuff. If you have a call you want to leave me, a voice note, you don't have time to call in on Wednesday, 708-982-0974. Leave a voice note, a message, or text message. I'll be more than happy to play it and review it on air when we go live on Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern. Guys, be safe out there. I'll see you on the next video. So I'm actually filming this about an hour after I did that last video review and uploaded it, and then I had to take it offline because, like everybody else, I fall victim to just reading what I read, and it was a suicide. How do we know? If you go back and you look at the entire video I did, how do we know it was a suicide? You had officers show up on scene with a freshly injured person with brain matter all over the place, and they don't look into it as if it was a murder attempt. Then the other officers on scene show up and they can't find a gun. That was a huge, big, glaring piece of evidence that I glanced right over. And because I had already had it in my head that the title clearly said suicide, that I didn't even stop to consider that. So you see how dynamic all this stuff is? If you go back and watch it and even you missed it, how do we know that that was not a murder attempt and just two officers walked away from a murder scene and somebody out there got away with it and St. Louis PD, Metro PD just listed it as a suicide? Something to think about it. We all miss it. I missed that one.